We are live. How's
That's
your
right.
day, Logan?
It's a long one today. Today
You
was a
were
long one.
traveling.
I got back from traveling yesterday. Drove back from Little Rock, and then today seemed extra long just because I thought I was going to have these meetings and I never did, and so I didn't
Yeah.
eat. I didn't eat until like right before this live stream. So
I
I ate like
saw Coffee and a Comic was from a hotel room.
yes, yeah, and on the wrong day, um, but it was I don't know, maybe it's the Punisher's good luck charm because it was the only good one there. But yeah, I'm riding on half a strawberry cake. I ate like all the leftovers of it. I was so hungry I couldn't stop. So
Yeah.
I may start acting weird because I'm on a sugar high.
So, as people start gathering, we are here. This is episode 3, right?
3.
Of Books
Yep.
and Dumpster Fires.
Yeah, dumpster fires and more dumpster fires is what it really really is. Well, books, TV shows, and dumpster fires for this one.
Yeah, there you go. So, we're here to talk about everything season 3, Reacher, Prime Video. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Is for those coming in here, I will give you a recap. Season 3 is based on Persuader, which is book number 7 in the Jack Reacher lineup. Season 2 was based on Bad Luck in Trouble, which is actually book 11, and then season 1 was based on Killing Floor, which is actually book number 1 in the Jack Reacher series. And so, yeah, we're here to talk everything about season 3. What's up, Peter? And what's up, Brian from Adventures in Literature?
Yo, let me real quick. Peter, you still on for the Rising Sun buddy read? Because I have you down whenever you want to respond, you can.
So, season 3, based on the book Persuader, give me your just general high level thoughts about season 3, Logan.
All right. So 2 major differences from the book that I think actually impacted the TV show, and changed it a little bit. One is there's no wife.
Yes.
So that's a big one.
Yep.
Because in the book there is a wife mother that actually plays a pretty
big
key
role.
part.
Yeah.
In the or actually, I shouldn't say key. I should say a big role in the book. So I don't know how much I liked that taking her out, because I thought because she was a kind of an elusive character. Peter, you're starting it before I am. But I thought that she was an elusive character. Like I didn't know if we could trust her or didn't know if we couldn't. You have the maternal instinct, for kind of protecting the son, and then also, you wonder, Reacher, like, is he going to try to make a move on her? Like, what exactly is going on with her character? So, and I think in the book, her character actually was written well, played out well, all that kind of stuff. So that I'm not sure about that. The second biggest thing for me, at least, was in this, I have a love-hate relationship with this whole situation, but I'm guessing we're just starting out with spoilers. Like we can go ahead and spoil everything.
Sure.
Okay. Well, this one doesn't matter because if you watch the TV show, then it's not really a spoiler because it happens really quick. But in the book, you don't find out that the campus officer that Reacher shot was in on it for a good while.
Yeah.
So you spend a pretty good amount of time in the book thinking he actually killed a cop.
Yep.
And in the TV show, it's either at the end of the first episode, or at the beginning of second episode, you find out. So it's almost immediately you kind of know, hey,
as a viewer, you find out.
As a viewer, right?
As a viewer,
yeah.
Huh. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. So those 2 things I think actually impacted how much I enjoyed the TV show. Okay. The that I'll point out that this is actually, I think, started in season 2, and I got to go back and rewatch season 1 just to see if I'm right on this. But Reacher had a little bit of his acting kind of changed. Alan Ritchson's acting kind of changed. He like makes a face or does this weird awkward stand whenever he either has made a point and then becomes silent, or if he's asked a question or something like that, and he just stays silent. Because, Reacher in the books will always say, like, so-and-so did this, I said nothing, or Reacher said nothing. He just kind of stays silent. Alan Ritchson's acting's kind of gotten this, like, a little bit more awkward over the course of the 3 seasons. I think I got to go back and watch season 1. But those things aside, I thought the TV show was good. Even if you haven't read the book, I think the TV show is fine. I thought it was pretty good. A lot of tension, a lot of, is anyone going to find out? I do have a serious problem with one thing, like one major thing, if I'm going to be nitpicky, and that is, you remember when he escaped out of the roof and he was sliding and he caught himself on the gutters?
Yes.
Okay. And he stood up on the gutters?
Yes.
Go ask a 200 and whatever pound man he is. Go ask, like would you put all of your weight and stand up on the gutters of a house?
Not 3 stories up in the air.
Not 3 stories up in the air. Gutters aren't attached that well. But after that, I was like, okay, I'll suspend, some disbelief for a little bit. But other than that, no, that's just the thing I'm nitpicking. But I thought it was really good. The TV show, I think I liked the book better than the TV show. But I thought the TV show I actually thought the book adaptation was better than Bad Luck in Trouble.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I thought they did a really good job of keeping with the book content, but there is some drastic changes that they made.
Yeah.
Hey, Ted.
What's up, Ted?
Peter agrees.
Oh,
Tom
okay.
Cruise, garbage. Yeah.
Yeah, I let Kevin answer that for me. We both talked about this.
Yeah.
It's, if you don't have any idea who Jack Reacher is, and you don't know that he's supposed to be, 6 foot whatever and strong and big, then I guess okay. I talked to my brother, and my brother doesn't like any Tom Cruise movies because since Tom Cruise is now older, especially, but that small, he's like, he's not believable as an action guy. Like, he's not believable winning a fight against most of the people he fights. He's like, so he can't really watch too many Tom Cruise movies after like Mission Impossible 2 or something.
Yeah.
Because he said, like, as an actor, he's just not believable.
Yeah. What's up, James? So, a couple other questions for you. There's actually some significant differences that I found in my research from the book to the actual season here on Prime.
Yep. And I know one you're going to bring up because I didn't bring it up yet, but I'm going to see if you do.
Okay. But I have some other questions.
Okay.
Give me your favorite fight scene.
My favorite fight scene is the shortest fight scene in the whole thing. It's the trick where he makes him pull on his hand. And
they're doing the Bulgarian arm wrestling.
That's got to be my favorite. But if that one doesn't count, then I don't know that I have a favorite. I don't know if favorite one sticks out. Because I wasn't a huge fan of the Pauly fight scene, only because it reminded me of like Michael Myers and Halloween. Like, they both just kept resurrecting. And so I was like, okay, the 2 big guys, like, I get it. So that's why that one wasn't my favorite. And I'm tongue in cheek a little bit. It was a good fight scene. It just wasn't my favorite. I'm trying to think what else might be a good one. I don't know. Yeah. What about you?
My favorite was the fight scene with the bullies when he takes Richie into the town by his dad. Okay, so that whole thing was an adaptation for the season. It was not. There was no bullies in the book.
Okay. Yeah. Now that you say that, I don't recall, but it didn't stick out.
And there was no toy gun scene
Right.
with Quinn at the end either. That did not
Yeah.
happen. But
You're
they
right
had,
about that.
I mean, you kind of understand a little bit as you're seeing these differences between book and adaptation because they have to create some stuff,
Mhm.
you know, to keep people engaged from a viewing standpoint. So I have another question for you.
Okay.
We've watched all 3 seasons, you know,
Yeah.
and do you feel this season was a little more catered to the ladies?
Just because he was shirtless a whole bunch more?
Well, the infamous scene where he comes from the night swim and walks up in
In his
his
underwear?
underwear, that
Yeah.
was everywhere on TikTok, and
That was it.
after that aired, it was
Gotcha.
everywhere. And then Duffy, her response when he walks up is
Yeah.
that was everywhere.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I can definitely see that argument, I guess, but I'm not sure that like stuck out to me.
Okay.
I am going to go back on your previous question a second ago. I mean,
Sure.
a second. The not a favorite fight scene, but another actually really good fight scene that I didn't think would be that good, but ended up being pretty enjoyable. Was I forget his name, but the heavier cop.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
that he's aligned with.
Villanueva.
Yeah, in the bathroom with that guy.
Oh,
That was a
yeah.
pretty cool one. It was on the last episode, I think.
When they're trying to break it out. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool one because it's if you got to think you have to create a convincing fight scene with two people who seem to be quite different in skill and ability, and within a really confined space. That was kind of
And
creative.
you have the dynamic Villanueva is on he's close to retirement, you
Yeah,
know, and he's doing Duffy a favor because they're doing this kind of clan, you know, they're not really supposed to be doing this on the books, so to speak.
hmm
And so I thought
right.
that was interesting.
Yeah,
So my favorite fight scene was the bullies, but I think my
mhm,
second favorite probably was the fight scene with Paulie,
hmm
the boss fight, which
yeah.
was drastically different than what was in the book.
It was. Yep.
Because the difference is, and I looked online too for this because I knew it was different, but I didn't know to what detail. But in the final confrontation, they're all over the place. And in the book, the fight scene is shorter, more brutal, but shorter, and
Yeah.
they're out at the guardhouse.
Right.
And
They're at the guardhouse the whole time. Yeah.
right, that was it.
Yep.
And so,
Yeah, I remember that. That did surprise me, especially whenever Polly came out of the woods.
yeah.
Uh,
61 hours or bad luck and trouble. Ooh. I like bad luck and trouble better than 61 hours.
I haven't read 61 Hours, but Bad
I
Luck and Trouble is like it's a
61
top for most people.
yeah, 61 hours is not a bad book by any means. So, yeah. It's a good question.
Wait, do
Okay,
we need to say a shout out to Secret Fire?
I did, Tim.
Oh, you did. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Tim. Oh, it's probably 'cause I just don't know his name. Sorry, Tim.
Yeah. Tim is the gentleman that I read the 5 short stories for Saturday Shorts a couple weeks ago. T.H.
Mhm,
Brandt. Yeah, he
mhm.
wrote those. Very
Gotcha.
good, by the way.
Wait, I know. Okay, I know Secret Fire books because like I can picture the videos that he makes now.
Oh yeah, they're nice. They're really
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
editing tricks.
Yep. So next question for you. Favorite supporting character. And
And this one,
that could be season 3, it could be season 2, season 1.
um, I like the kid in this one. Thought he was good.
Richie?
Yeah, I thought Richie was pretty. He played that part really well for the show. Um, and then Villanueva was good too. I didn't like most other supporting characters in this one. The the dad, I guess, had the I guess the one redeeming quality seen at the end, but he wasn't very good. And then what's her name again? The main
Neely.
no, not Neely. Neely's always good.
Oh, you're talking about Duffy.
Yeah, Duffy. I thought that she was better in the book than the show.
And see, here's the other kind of trivia or fact is Neely wasn't in the book.
Yeah, I know that. So in fact, if you ever read any of the press before the thing came out, they're trying to keep her in every season, even though she's not going to be in the books, because of the spinoff. Yeah,
the spinoff, and the spinoff is supposedly right now the ETA, and it's still not in stone. Is late 2025, early 2026.
Yeah.
So give me your take since we're on this subject. Do you think that's got some wheels? You think it's got some staying power? The Neely series spinoff.
I think it's forced, but it might be successful.
They did say Richardson would play kind of as Reacher, kind of some cameos in it, but it's going to be centralized around the character Neely.
Yeah.
And so I'm a little torn by it.
Which I'm fine with. I actually really like the Neely character in the book, and I think that the Neely in the show is just fine. Mm-hmm. But because in the book, Neely's a little more neurotic. Mm-hmm. She's a little more. She's not as warm as the character in the TV show.
She's very cold.
Yeah. And
she almost has, would you say she almost has like OCD tendencies, like heavily OCD?
Neurotic. That's kind of that's kind of that's what I'm trying to describe there is, almost these tendencies of her personality that kind of make her cold. But I think she's better in the books than in the TV show, but I don't think the book character would translate very well in the TV show. And especially if they're going to try to do a spinoff, you can't use the Neely out of the books to do a spinoff TV show.
No, it would it'd be boring.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it could be, it could very well be quite successful. I have no idea, but I think it's forced. I don't know what they based it on. Maybe season 2 ratings went up and season 1 were down. They thought, hey, Neely was a good character in season 2. She was more main. And so maybe they thought they'd attribute to that. But of course, it's the old teams. There's a lot about Bad Luck and Trouble that I think might make the ratings go up in season 2. But we'll see. I mean, I'll still probably watch it.
Yeah. I'll probably check it out to see if it turns out to be some kind of Rings of Power type thing. I'm going to be like, oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's got to be more people, too, because Neely's a little more stationary. She's not – I mean, she does travel a lot for her job, but she's not as nomadic as Reacher.
So episode 7
oh, gosh.
of this season, almost all of it was non-book related.
What's the last – is that the last episode?
No, it's the next to last.
Next to last. Is that –
the ATF stuff, like right before Neely's following the Yemen guys and that was all
that's like Neely. That was Neely's episode, wasn't it?
Yeah, that yeah, that whole thing was just kind of like a continuing the whole story arc they created to get Neely in there to have a purpose. Right. And it was all fabricated because you notice like when Duffy, Villanueva, and Reacher all go to the ATF because it's like they got to get the CI because the CI is still in play, this Teresa. Right. And when they go to this ATF guy and he basically is like hands them their you-know-what in their hat, he's like, I'm taking over. You guys are going to take a back seat and all that jazz. And Reacher gets upset about it because he wants Quinn because of what he did to Dominique Cole.
Right.
What ends up happening is when you get to part 8, like you don't get any, like there's ATF guys getting shot because it's an ambush and a trick.
Yeah.
And then you don't hear anything else when you roll into the last episode because they have to have all the confrontations and wrap it all up.
Right.
Well, it was just kind of that was the one negative I thought of the 8 episodes in this season. It was like it was a little kind of forced there.
Yeah.
But
and that how much do you think that is a result of how can we write Neely into this?
I think a lot of it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of had to. But yeah, that seemed really forced to me.
Well, that now that you remind me of that episode, because it's tough because I read them I read Persuader's the latest Reacher book that I've read, I think. And so it's the freshest, but I pretty much, I didn't really, I probably in 2 parts watched this episode. So I watched like the first 3 right when they came out, and then I pretty much let the other ones stack up a little bit. I think I watched them. The last one, I think I might watch by itself. But so some of the stuff, I'm glad you went back and looked it up. Some of the stuff I could have gotten switched.
Yeah. So I have another question for you.
Yeah.
What character were you most amped up to see?
What do you mean amped up?
So were you excited to see any specific character when you were getting ready to, when it was coming? Season 3 was on it, when they did all the trailers.
Oh, yeah. I want to see who Quinn was.
Okay.
And then when I saw that it was the bad guy from Tokyo Drift, I was like, this is going to be great. I love the Fast and Furious movies.
What's up, Professor X? So I was amped up to see Paulie because she's such a.
That's the most obvious one. That was the first person I checked on. I was like, who is going to play the giant? Paulie, because in the book, and we talked about this, I think, on the phone once. Mm-hmm. In the book, he's significantly younger than the actor. The actor is closer to mid-30s or 40. And in the book, Paulie's supposed to be like a 21, 22-year-old or something.
Yeah. He's like in his prime and just like this impossible force type. Yeah.
And he has kind of a high voice in the book.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. It didn't match his like body type. And,
So that one was, and I was like, okay, the guy who plays him, I forget his name, but he is considered the Dutch giant, but he's basically the biggest, the tallest bodybuilder. He holds a Guinness World Record of the tallest or the biggest bodybuilder.
And so that leads me to another kind of fun fact is in the book, Paulie's name was Paulie Massarella. And in the show, they changed it to Paulie Van Hoven due to Oliver Richards being Dutch.
Oh, really? There you go.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of an interesting little trivia fact.
Yeah. And that's the license to make it how you want.
So I want to go back to something you said earlier because you liked one of the things that was omitted that was really glaring to you. You mentioned at the first was the mom. Mm-hmm. And it is a huge part of the book, and it's a huge kind of conflict in the book because it's a pretty touchy subject of what ends up happening because she's abused by Paulie.
Right, by Paulie, and that storyline is not really as out in the open as it is in the book.
Right. And so that would have been difficult to put on Prime, I think, in a way like that was going to touch some touchy subjects, and how is that going to be responded to the viewership? And so I can understand the omittance there. But they
could have changed that storyline a little bit.
Yeah.
It could have been like he physically abused him.
Yeah.
And that would have been just fine because you still would have hated the guy.
Yeah.
That makes you hate him even more. But Paulie's is not the overbearing presence in the show as he actually is in the book. In the book, you feel like Paulie is this. At any point in time, he's going to go off, and he really is like the eye on the whole, place. And in the TV show, you don't really get that. You get a lot more of Quinn's involvement.
Yeah,
not Quinn through Paulie. You're right. It does change the dynamic. I didn't think of it that way, but it does. You're right.
So, most disappointing character for you in season 3? Or just a character you like kind of meh about?
2. I mean, for me, it'd probably be like the dad and Duffy. Like those 2 were kind of. Okay. I didn't really look forward to their scenes. The dad, I think, actually, I probably like the dad better than Duffy. What's his name again?
Not Quinn. It's Richie's dad was because he's Beck.
Beck. There you go.
He's also really different in the book than he is in the book. He's more cold, and he seems more powerful. In the show, he was just like he just coward and he was always worried about his son. And
Yeah.
in the book, he was not whatsoever.
Right.
He was
And
cold.
so I think that's what feeds into that that overwhelming presence of Quinn, is because he was more involved. Beck had a reason to be afraid of Quinn, and so Beck kind of had to be more afraid because Quinn was, kind of being around. But yeah, I liked his character a little better toward the end, but more than Duffy.
Yeah.
Duffy was kind of, and the scenes with the captive agent from the very beginning, not the agent, but the captive guard from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Those were pretty tense scenes because like you knew he was going to break out. You just knew it, even if you never read the books. You knew he was going to break out, and it just is a question of when.
So a couple things that were different there. There was 2 bodyguards in the book.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have just one person captured. Duffy wasn't from Boston. She was from DC.
DC.
Yeah.
Gosh, I wouldn't remember that either.
And
bring up things I would never have remembered.
Teresa, who was this person that she felt the need to go after because of she knew the mom or whatever, the grandmother, that wasn't in the book. And Teresa in the book wasn't like a plant, like a CI. Teresa was another DEA agent.
Yeah.
Because they thought that Bazaar was funneling drugs. They weren't at first. They didn't think it was guns.
Right. So, and with that too, you had a couple of key pieces of the plot missing in the show. So first, I'm gonna real quick. Let me ask. I wouldn't remember. There's some of those details I just never remembered, but there's never a shoe scene in the book. Beck finds that's how he actually. So what happens is, Reacher. So two. I'll give away 2 things that are different. Reacher leaves his clothes or a bag or whatever of stuff at the rocks. The maid finds it, so knows that Reacher is someone else.
Mm-hmm.
But then the maid, whenever she gets found out, they find that there's a one of those phones in her shoe, and then he sent, like, it's a big scene where he's like, check everybody's shoes, and they play it different in the TV show. But because he does have that scare of they might find this thing, because it's in his pocket and he's like, I got to store it somewhere. He puts it in the pillowcase, and that whole scene, which I thought was,
And there's a couple other things along those lines too, where you're headed with this, is that in the book, it wasn't a cell phone in the shoe; it was an email device.
Yes, right, correct. I know that.
And
he was always doing this.
Yes, the maid wasn't French; she was Irish. And
I would remember that,
when they found out about her in the Prime Video, the adaptation, what ends up being touched on is Polly hit her and basically hit her too hard. Right. In the book,
that's not the case in the book. Yeah,
Beck, no, it's not Beck. I think it was Quinn ends up torturing her.
Yeah, I knew her demise was a lot different.
Yeah,
and that the how they treated the undercover maid was quite different.
Yeah,
probably because they wanted to minimize it. So,
Peter, how many Michael Crichton books have you read? I've read 2, Jurassic Park and Lost World. Both were great. You go first.
Oh, no. I've only read Jurassic Park, and I think I read half of Lost World. And I also thought they were great. All 1.5 of them.
Oh, boy. Let me see here. So, Jurassic Park, Lost World, Sphere, Andromeda Strain.
You just read Timeline.
2 Timeline, 2 John Lange, Rising Sun. Have
you read Airframe?
Airframe multiple times, along with Jurassic Park. Eaters of the Dead, Congo. I know there's like a couple more.
Peter, like 73.
Yeah, at least probably 10 to 12 of his books, not all of them. But I really liked the John Lange. I read Binary, and I've got a couple other of the hard case crime books he wrote when he kind of started. And I picked up one today at a free library here in town. I was offloading some books that I picked up. I always look at the Louis L'Amour sections when I go to used bookshops, because if I have, there's usually so cheap. But if I find ones that I already have, but they're like in better condition, I'll just get them. And then I will gift to the free library my version if it's, And so I took some up this morning after dropping Tess off of school, and lo and behold, they had a Michael Crichton, and it was Travels, which is kind of his nonfiction kind of account of traveling right after he got his doctorate. And so I'm interested in checking that out, because I always heard it's really good. So
sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. So good question, Peter. I'm interested, before we kind of move on with some other things here with this, how many people that are here have you watched season 3 or season 2 or season 1, and what you thought? So definitely drop a comment if you're interested. You give me your take, or Logan and I your take on Reacher on Prime. So a couple other interesting little variances here. So the Dominique Cole, in the book, her story is far more prevalent, and
way more. Yeah.
Her in Reacher, it's hinted at in the Prime adaptation that there was something there. It's far more prevalent that there was in Reacher, had to kind of put a stop to it.
Yeah.
In the book.
Yep.
And so
yeah, he kind of kept it from happening.
Right.
But yeah, she was way more significant in the book.
Right. The other thing that I found that I thought was really interesting too is the angel doll. That little character that was kind of like working for in between Quinn.
Oh, yeah. That the guy that got his head put in the little thing where you put receipts. Yeah.
Yes. And he was like he had like 4 or 5 pages in the book. And then he had like 2 episodes. He was in 2 different episodes. And this, that was interesting.
I'm fine with that. I don't remember him much in the book, but I was fine with his role, because he was kind of like, oh yeah. The other thing that I thought they did pretty well, that was only slightly different, that had to do with Angel Doll, was the shooting in the house, the safe house. That was pretty close to the book. There might have been a few things that were different.
Yeah,
but that was pretty close.
And that's interesting you bring that up, because when I look at the characters, I was kind of whatever about, and it was Duke.
Duke, yeah.
I thought he was a little more robust in the book than he was in the adaptation.
Yeah, I actually thought he was a little more likable in the book than the adaptation.
Yes. And I thought he had more presence too in the book. In the adaptation, he just kind of was like a jerk.
Yeah, he was like a pawn to the plot.
Right.
In the book, he seemed like one of the main characters at Beck's house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you there, because Beck was kind of Beck would be the one that would call him into the meeting or call him into the gym. In the book, they go to the gym more often than in this TV show.
Yes.
In the TV show, you have one spot, one meeting in the gym, but in the book, they actually go there quite often, several times.
Yeah.
Not that you can't, you can't include everything. So maybe that's an easy one to kind of just do once. But Beck very much was. His demise was not before half the book, right? It'd be, right. I don't think it was, or it would be closer to that than like the first quarter.
Right. Now, the Russian roulette. I think there's a difference between book and adaptation. Do you remember in the book, was it Beck that was all about the Russian roulette to prove your kind of worthiness, your loyalty? Whereas in the adaptation, didn't he get, like, was it Paulie pushing for it or Duke pushing for it?
No, he was sitting across from Beck. But maybe they're pushing it. I thought in the book he was working on mathematical probability, and in the TV show he marks the chamber. Right,
but the gun ends up firing.
Yeah,
and they made it kind of seem like, oh, he was totally lucky that didn't go off.
In the book you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, in the TV show, he knew when it was going to fire because he had it marked, and then the guy pulls the gun. The guy pulls it from him and shoots.
So Jake from Baltimore, huh? Guess what I just effing watched?
Oh shoot! The first episode or the last episode, or Rings of Power.
I'm wondering if it's my wrap up.
Oh,
I'm not scared of him, Tim. I'm not scared of him.
oh, Kevin's FD.
Oh man, it's hard to find good friends.
Was that the update where you were talking about pulling back on things?
No, I think it was my wrap up where I do my book tour spotlight, and I was kind of like, well, my last one this week was Jake from Pulp Mortem. I guess you could watch his channel, but I wouldn't.
Oh man! And then you went live. That was bad planning.
I know.
Because now he's got you here for like an hour.
I know.
Well, 30 minutes. Well, however long we have until the Cardinals start. Sorry.
Yeah, Brian, I think, was wanting to catch the Cardinal game. So, any other major parts in season 3 that you liked, disliked, or where you thought were off?
Let's see. I got to think on that one. Probably. Well, no, I don't think. I think the main thing that some of the details of the plot are always what I kind of look for. So in the second season, there was something that I really didn't like that they left out, or they didn't leave out. They didn't do very well.
Okay.
And that was whenever in the second season, Bad Luck and Trouble, he needs money, he needs cash, and he goes and he takes it from those like drug dealers. But he does a really, like, it's described really well, where he sits and he studies how they do it, and then he goes and does like a screeching halt with his car and knocks the guy flat and grabs the money and then takes the car and then keeps going. That was really cool. In the TV show, they completely did a different scene. It made it really normal, and it wasn't as big of a, because they don't describe a lot of those kinds of things with that to that extent.
Yeah.
In the books, like they did with that scene, and they made it a minor scene rather than a major scene. And so I was kind of frustrated because that I kid you not, when I was reading Bad Luck and Trouble, or for those when I was listening to Bad Luck and Trouble, that moment when I read that part, I was like, this would make a good adaptation. This book would be a really good one. And then I was pretty excited when I heard that they were going to. But
bye, Felicia.
I like Pulp Mortem already.
I'm sorry, Jake. We're not talking bum cider here. Oh man.
Yeah. There's nothing like that in the third one though for me.
Okay.
So
did
nothing I really liked.
What about season 1? Did you have anything in season 1 that you disliked?
I disliked the book.
You disliked the book?
Yeah, I disliked The Killing Floor. I thought that was one of the worst Reacher books that I've read.
Okay.
And that's my opinion. I think the premise is pretty cool. I still like the premise, but I thought season 1 was really good. In fact, the supporting cast in season 1 so far has been better than any of the other supporting casts.
Yeah.
Season 1's probably my favorite season still so far.
Okay.
The best fight scene across all 3, the shower scene in season 1, or the bathroom scene in season 1. That was awesome. Yeah. The best supporting character is that detective in season 1. He was amazing. I think one of the best plots so far has been season 1's plot. And then I like the Bad Luck and Trouble plot too. Persuader was just a good one. I think it was solid. But so season 1 to me has still been the best. There's a few things I like the least about season 1. So like season 2 and 3 they got away from the graphic, romance scene that season 1 had. I think they could have done without it season 1 because season 2 and 3 didn't have one, and you're okay. So that's the few things like that. But otherwise, season 1 to me is hands down the best so far.
Okay.
And they actually show, I think it's season 1. Let me know if it's season 1, but is season 1 when they go to that fried chicken place and they actually show what Reacher orders when he actually orders food?
And they're like, how do you eat that and look the way you do?
Yeah. I like that.
Like this.
Yeah.
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 The funny thing is I think it's Running Blind is the book where they talk. It was one of the few books where they talk about Reacher. He is down in Florida Keys and he's digging like pools. And he had talked about, well, there was a former military guy that talked about drinking like 2 gallons of mineral water a day and just having like steak. And he got in his best shape because he was doing all this hard labor for money. And he was just kind of hanging out at this place, ordering mineral water and steaks. And he was in great shape. But they don't, over the course of the books, they don't talk a lot about his eating habits per se. They do reference the whole line of his days in the Army, where it's like you sleep when you can, you eat when you can, because you never know when you're going to be able to do it again.
And that's not unique to Reacher. That's a mentality adapted from a lot of other ones. But usually in the books, if I remember correctly, his explanation has always been genetics.
Yeah,
like his metabolism and genetics, and so he no matter what he does, he will look like that.
Yeah,
which of course Alan Ritchson is also working out a lot and is on testosterone, so it's not so much genetics. I mean, some genetics, don't get me wrong, but also some secret sauce.
There was another character, now that I'm thinking about it, that I thought was kind of undertouched, is the part when they were talking about Dominique Cole. You get a little bit of this guy that ends up being General Garber. And he is prevalent in a couple of the books, the Reacher books. And he was like his mentor, his CO or whatever. And he is a real bad dude. And it was just kind of like this run-of-the-mill guy. And he didn't really say much, trust your instincts, work the clues, just real basic stuff. And he had like a couple lines, and that was it.
This in the flashbacks?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't remember him much.
I really expected like Garber to be like, they were going to give him a little bit of a something, because he's prevalent in some of the other books, especially the ones that go back and talk about his past in the military.
I don't know if I read enough books to get enough of those flashbacks.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Is Night School a flashback?
No.
Okay.
Because there's one book, I don't remember the name of it, but there's one book where it deals with Garber's daughter, who they had a kind of a thing, and they end up having the thing because she remembers him from being younger when he was under Garber. And Garber leaves Reacher a house in the DC area.
I've not read that one yet.
Yeah, it's a good book.
Spoiling it.
It's a good book. That's not a spoiler. That's just a matter of the plot. But it's a good book.
That now that you mentioned that, it didn't stick out to me because I didn't have that background information on Garber.
Yeah,
but the I actually the Neely, like, I mean, I get your point where Neely is kind of the episode that seemed to be most out of character for the book. They did give her a relevant plot point, or make her a relevant plot point. So that.
Hey, did Judy call repeatedly?
But that I thought they brought her in just fine. Like, I was fine with her being in the story. Because I knew they were going to put her in it because I read about it first. I always read the build-ups, the articles and stuff, usually because I'm too anxious. I don't want to wait. And I
Sure.
can't wait because it's usually, a few more months before it comes out. So I'll read all the articles on it.
Okay. So
So,
let's talk news and speculation.
okay. Oh, gosh. You're
So,
better at this than I am. I typically stop thinking once the last episode, and you're always like, I wonder what's going to happen next.
so they've already locked down that Prime is gonna do season 4. The
Yeah.
speculation is the book maybe the Midnight Line. Now, I have a little trivia question for you.
Oh, gosh. I can't even remember this season I just watched. All right, go for it.
It's just in general, and if you don't be googling this, people at home. Yeah, I always say that. Never they're going to Google it. But what book is Alan Richardson's favorite? If you know me and you've watched some of my videos about Reacher, you know what it is.
The Bryans are having a moment.
Brian. They're like the birds in Finding Nemo. Mine.
I don't know which one's Alan Richardson's favorite.
So the speculation is that season 4 may be Midnight Line. They haven't announced
that. Midnight Line.
No, that's not his favorite. That's the speculation what the book will be. Now, that's the rumor mill. It hasn't been official yet. But Richardson's book is made official in some of his interviews. His favorite book is Die Trying, book 2. And I think Die Trying would be the best book new season.
That's the one where he's got to break out of all that stuff.
That's where he gets like kidnapped with this lady, and they go to this militia out west in like Montana, and the Borkin character, and they have all the guns, and he has to like break her out, and
that's when you told me to read that you think is one of the best ones, and I have not read it.
Yeah, it would be epic.
I'm gonna read it. That'd be really cool. I haven't read Midnight Line. I don't know what's Midnight Line about.
Midnight Line is it's about a train that goes through this Hobunk town, and I think it's the one where he finds this West Point ring in a pawn shop, and he goes to investigate like who would pawn their West Point ring.
I've read that one.
Yeah,
on audiobook. I've listened to it.
Yeah,
I do remember that one. There's also so there's a Reacher version of the.
That's I mean,
I see some words there.
Yeah, it's more as they're catering to the female audience. I think that might not be far from the truth, Tim.
But the West Point ring line I get, which is I don't know when that book was written, but there was a not too long ago a Hallmark movie where I guess wedding ring was found, and they traced it back because they're like, who would lose this wedding ring? And they traced it back, and I'm sure people found love.
Yeah,
I remember.
So season 4, we don't know. It's.
Oh yeah, I'm supposed to speculate about something.
It's official. This book speculation. What would you want it to be? I want Die Trying. Obviously, that's Richardson's favorite book, but we don't know what it's going to be. What would you like to see?
Let's see. I had one in mind because so before I started reading quite a lot, I checked out all the books on CD because I always have a car with a CD player, and I did 5, 6, maybe 7 Reacher books in a row. I still really like Echo Burning. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So that would be a pretty cool one, I think, to adapt. There's a few I think that would be really bad to adapt. That would be really hard to, like the one where he catches the glimpse of this kind of person he's interested in. It ends up being this woman who's a former officer who gets blasted by an IED and has to wear foil on her face. You remember that one where she's like addicted to the opiate?
The painkillers. Yep.
Yeah, that one I think would not be one you could adapt. I think that's a book story. I don't think that's it.
And she's like in like BFE. She's out in the woods. Yeah.
So I don't think that would be a really good one. So some of them I think you really can't adapt very well. But Echo Burning has always kind of stood out to me as That was one of my favorites because you have the hitchhiker, or not the hitchhiker. I guess it gives him a ride, didn't it? Didn't she give him a ride, or does he give her a ride? She gives him a ride. I can't remember how they first meet.
I don't know.
But yeah, that
would be a tough one.
That scene would be, well, no, that one. But echo burning, it's the person who's in the car with him at the beginning, who he doesn't really know her story and doesn't know if he trusts her.
And she uses codes to talk to him.
Say that again.
She uses like code.
Yes.
Code words to communicate with him, but yeah.
And then it ends up being, because that's the one where it ends up being like I forget what the main operation is. I know it's in the it's like in a town or middle of nowhere that's on a train route that has a whole bunch of energy going to it, but nothing's there.
Yeah.
So I remember that being a key part of it, because I use the correct words and I say middle of nowhere, and so that would, I think that'd be really good. I think echo burning would be a pretty good one. Is that an earlier one or is that later?
Echo burning would be earlier.
Okay.
See, for me is the ones where he starts having his brother write them. There's been a couple decent ones.
You say like no to those. Do not do a new one.
I really do. I don't
would
think.
Would you watch it though? If it was on like the Sentinel, would you watch it?
I don't.
You have to. You have to.
Probably.
You can't read the Reacher that you've read and watch the Reacher that you've watched and not. I
watched Rings of Power even though I knew it was garbage. It was like a bad movie. You got to see the end of it. Like it's like watching Springer. You like, how bad can this really get?
Like watching MTV's reality TV like 10 years after it started.
Yeah.
Laguna Beach or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I think those would be bad. The Andrew Child ones would
probably
I'd watch them, but I think they wouldn't be as good as the earlier novel. The earlier books, I just think have really good female characters, really good plots, and so some of the ones with his brother, it seems a little forced, and so.
What's the one where he goes to a small town and there's like a female police officer who is probably too good for her job, and he helps with like a small town problem?
Is it the one where there's the two different towns and they are like 10 miles apart and they don't want people from that town coming, and the police officer, he keeps going back trying to figure out what the heck's going on in the town?
Maybe, yeah. Well, he keeps getting kicked out of the town, but he keeps going back in.
Yes. Is that the same one you're talking about?
Maybe. I can't remember. I can't remember enough. Like I'm trying to figure out who the bad person is in that one, because I can only remember that it's a small town. He keeps being told to leave or getting kicked out, but he keeps coming back. And it's like this single. It's a smaller town. It's a single main detective police officer, and it's a woman that ends up being his love interest. But like she knows that she needs him, but I can't remember what the evil force is. So maybe it's like a family. It might be family that is embedded in the town. I don't know. I can't remember now.
So
I don't think that would be a good TV show, by the way. That's what I was going to say, is I don't think that whatever that one is, don't think it's going to be good.
So the new book comes out in November.
I haven't even read any of the Andrew Child books. I don't even know why I'm agreeing with you that they'd be bad. Maybe I thought they'd be my favorite.
I think you'll see a different tone of Reacher. I think his brother writes a different tone of Reacher than Lee Child does. Yeah. That was the other thing too, is that, and that was my last little nugget for you, is that in the books, Reacher is less humorous than he is in the show.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, he's whenever, okay, did you ever go back and watch my Reacher video?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, one of the things that I quizzed you on that. Did you see that? I was like, are we really friends? Because did you see my one Reacher video I made? No, I'm kidding. The
You quizzed me on it. Oh, did you? Oh, by asking me?
by asking if you watched it.
Yeah.
If you said no, then I was gonna just go ahead and exit out of this whole thing right now. But no, in that video, my main point that I didn't like about Tom Cruise more than his size was that he smiled too much. Reacher doesn't smile in the books. He doesn't laugh in the books. He's not funny. He's not comical. So yes, he does. He does mind his own business. No, but in the books he's definitely more kind of serious and just straightforward. Whereas he has one liners in the TV show that just aren't in the books,
No.
are not represented in the books.
No.
But Brian, he's about as to himself as
He just finds himself in these weird places. Like
he does. He sees stuff and goes to it though. Like if he sees
Sure.
something that he thinks is up, he'll go straight to it, like a little nosy neighbor.
Yeah. So speaking of which, so in the books, there's an allure of being nomadic and being not. He doesn't have a mortgage. He doesn't have. So that was a big draw in that one book where he gets gifted the house and he's like, I don't think I want this. I'll have to buy a lawnmower and I don't want a suitcase and I don't want to have to put things in this house. Like it's all going to weigh me down. He likes his freedom of movement and he, wears clothes for a couple days and then he gets new ones, and yeah. So that's the allure when I first started reading the books that I really enjoyed because it's so different as a character from anything else out there in a series that, yes, there's these characters that always find the women, and all that jazz, or was always the toughest, but the nomadic thing was always the allure. Plus the fact that he was smart.
Yeah.
He was highly intelligent.
He is. The thing that they lose in the books, the thing that they lose in the TV shows that's a theme throughout the books is he is a numbers person. He's kind of obsessed with numbers. Yeah. And that is completely lost in the TV show. They kind of get at it in the first one.
Yeah.
And they kind of get at it in the Bad Luck and Trouble when they're trying to crack the password. But other than that, like in the books, he talks about all these numbers. He relates it to baseball. He does all these different things with numbers. And it's just almost like a gift he has, completely lost in the TV show.
So little quiz for you. What?
Oh gosh.
So when he gives his name for staying somewhere, he always uses what?
He always uses baseball players' names from, oh gosh, either one of the Sox teams or the Yankees or something.
He uses Yankees, but it's a specific position.
Hold on. Does he use pitchers? No, catchers.
Second baseman.
Second baseman. Okay. Yeah, I knew it was baseball players, but I didn't. I forgot it was second baseman.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian, you would find that interesting in the books.
Sorry, Brian, I just dropped your comment really quick.
He is, I don't know, how do you describe it? He just has a knack for numbers and he has a really interest in numbers. He got a good memory for numbers. Yeah. Other things, kind of, but he's not like an eidetic memory, but it's much more like he just latches on to numbers really easily.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, but he's smart with them.
Yes. So who's still here has questions?
I think the Cardinals are on now, so we've lost one, Brian.
Yeah, he's gone, or he's multitasking.
Yeah. He didn't say he wouldn't. He just said he would. We'd have to make him choose. I think at this time, we've made the choice very easy for him. Cardinals it is.
Oh, so season 3 a success for you?
Yeah, it was. Now the Persuader shotgun was a lot more powerful than I'd expect it to be, because when he used it in the TV show, he was blowing people across the screen.
Mm.
Brian's still here. How the Cardinals started. So yeah, that was. But no, I thought season 3 so far all 3 seasons have been pretty good. He has, like I said, he's gotten a little more awkward in his acting when he's quiet or he pauses.
Yeah.
Or he's thinking. He kind of does this weird thing, but I think that's an Alan Richardson thing. But overall, the seasons have been successes. In fact, so far, if I would go with the book, so here's how I'd put it. Season 1 was better than the book. Season 2 was worse than the book. Season 3 is about as good as the book because the things they added and took out, I think, are pretty even. However, if I had to give it to one, if I had to choose, I'd go the book over the season of the TV show.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I view it. What about you?
I would say yes. I think overall there's little bitty nuances that they can't really always do, but I would think overall I think they have done a really good job with sticking towards the source material as much as they could.
Yeah, I agree.
We talked about the mom in this season. Like, that'd been tough to sell that on Prime. Like, that'd have been rough, that whole theme.
Yes, but like with other stuff that's on Prime, maybe for this audience, because this audience is very much going to be a CBS audience.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get that. But this audience is not going to be your like original, Netflix Daredevil or something like, a little more dark. So I get that, that if that's what you're saying. I think there's other Prime shows that are kind of, toe the line a little bit there too. But
yeah. Well, I think they've done a good job. I think Richardson's he's great as Reacher.
Yeah. He definitely fits the bill.
For sure. I mean, he's great. I definitely think, like you said, there's some nuances that you're noticing that differ a little bit from the nuances in the book a little bit, but it's still pretty standout. Yeah. I thought they really tried to paint a picture of him being a little less clean, more rugged, more kind of, because they were catching him off guard, trying to pull him into this whole investigation off the book type thing. Yeah. And so I thought that was really kind of unique and authentic. Yeah, I'm excited to see what 4 is. I mean, Midnight Line would be good if that's the rumor mill, has kind of an inside track on what that would be. But
you want Die Trying.
I would take Echo Burning, Running Blind. I would take 61 Hours. I would, there's a number of them I would take, but yeah, Die Trying that'd be top notch.
Yeah, I for sure. So I for sure think that they would be. Wait. What was season 1 based on?
Killing Floor.
Killing Floor. What was the first Reacher movie based on that what's his name did that Tom Cruise did?
Tom Cruise's first one was based on
Never Go Back was number 2. The first one was something else. There's one with the guy that they thought was the assassin that he knew from back in the day.
Try to forget these Tom Cruise movies.
So I would not want them to ever do Never Go Back Again. I think that was a bad.
Oh, it was the Zach. It was One Shot.
One Shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would not. I don't think they should because they need to keep going in the new territory.
I don't think they'll do that either. I don't think they'll go try to remake.
Yeah, but One Shot would have been a cool one.
It would have been. It would have been much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you here's another thing too to think about. In the newest one, I'd have to go back and look at the titles that I've read if I were going to speculate on like which one I'd want them to do in the future. But I trust your Die Trying vote. I'm with you on that. The with Pauly in there, it's hard to think of Reacher as like the biggest guy. In all the other TV shows, like in the first one, he's kind of like the scenes set him up to be way bigger than everybody else. But it's hard to do that. So he doesn't play that I'm the biggest guy in the room, because he usually isn't with Paulie around. So and I think the book made you feel that way too.
Sure.
So I think that was pretty good. And so I think, depending on what book they choose can also can contextualize how you see Reacher.
Yeah. So let's pivot and talk. Right. What's on the horizon for Novel Insights?
Keep from folding. That's what's on the horizon. Oh, man.
I don't want to hear that.
I just been struggling. Like I had a lot of stuff, both personal and traveling, back to back to back. I thought I was gonna go out on a bang with this. Brian, you take that back. You take that back. This is the wrong crowd to see that.
That's comment of the week right there.
Both of you. It's both of you. There's a reason that I have I had to get a second page out on my list of tag videos to make up on. And that's college ruled. That's not the regular ruled. That's college ruled. That means how many lines is that? Like 50?
Bro, I've only created 3 originals. The rest of them are all people tagging me. You can't blame me for it.
Oh, yes, I can.
You're the one that was like, you didn't tag me in that. And I'm like, okay, from now on, I'll tag you in everything.
Hey, self-serving bias. That means I don't blame myself. I blame you. Even though I'm the one who said that I'll do the tags that you do and keep tagging me. I'm forgetting that right now.
You created the playlist, Toll Tags. I had to fill it up.
Yeah, it's true. It is on me. But no, not. I'm sure I'll do tags in 2026.
No, Tim. I'm not mad at you that you don't play along with tags. Yeah, it's fine. I've paused from him, because I'm trying to pull back and not do 20 videos a week, as everyone likes to joke at me. But I've kind of slowed down. I've been tagging stuff. I got a little list going. So, see you, Brian.
See ya. I ate half a strawberry cake. That was what I had to eat because I was starving all day. So hopefully you've eaten something earlier today. If not, next time I'll save it. Next time I'll save the strawberry cake and send it.
You're supposed to be loading up on protein for this live, man.
Yeah. Whoops. I loaded up on, I don't know what it's made out of. Butter, probably.
Carbs.
Definitely carbs and fat. Probably not much protein. I didn't eat all day, and I needed something that was heavy because I didn't want to get hungry again. I ate other stuff. I didn't just eat that. It's not like all I've had today was strawberry cake. I had a sandwich.
I'm not judging. This is judge-free zone.
Quit judging me. I feel judged. You just stuck to the lest they be judged. So, okay, Secret Fire has a point, because now that I've done so many tags and I haven't read that many books, I'm running out of answers.
Because you feel like you're recycling the same thing over and this is my favorite character. This is the book I would,
Or like I have to wait to do tags until the end of the month so that I have 10 new books to choose from.
Well, since this is a safe space, I'll open up and share something with you.
You've made up all your answers to tag videos. I knew it.
No.
I'm kidding.
That's a good idea, though. But when I was Blame Josh had already overbooked. He was one like, you should create your own tag. And so then it got me. I didn't think, I was like, I'll never be creative enough to do that. And then that got me thinking, like, well, maybe I should. But when I created the perfect booktuber tag, I was super, super excited because I thought it showcases other booktubers. People can talk about their favorites. They can construct these attributes that this is my favorite one, blah, blah, blah. It
the
flopped.
Least amount of one.
It flopped.
Yeah.
And I think the reason
I noticed that, by the way.
I know. I thought this is going to be great. People are going to jump on this. It's going to be great. I think it flopped because I think people, when they're asked or kind of feel forced to say, well, here's my favorites, they're going to feel like I'm going to leave all these people out. So I'd rather not even do it.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the reason why.
Yeah. I can't remember if that's on my list or if that's one of those ones where I was mentioned because, I mean, naturally, if you're going to talk about your favorite booktubers, I'm
Right.
just kidding, that I wasn't actually tagged on it. And I was like, whew, dodged a bullet there.
Yeah.
Um,
I was
but
shocked by that because I was really that would probably like how people talk about it. I had this really cool video idea and then it
yeah,
just like no one watched. That would
yeah,
be one of them. Like I was like, people are gonna love this. This is
yeah,
gonna be great because it's a great way to pay it forward to people and but then when you get after I launched it, I got thinking I was like, I don't know if everyone's gonna want to do this because
yeah.
you're gonna feel like I'm gonna slight this person and so they're
So
just
I think that a favorite booktuber tag, or a like booktubers that make you happy or something like that. Because the first tag I ever created, the first original tag I ever created, I never posted it, never did it, but I wrote it down. Was the same idea. It was like the booktuber that makes me laugh the most, the booktuber that says the fun, the coolest things, or I don't know, I put it better than that. But I thought that is only good when you're small and you can name just about every booktuber that you
right,
like,
right,
and you're either unknown or you only have so many that you know.
right.
And so I was like, I have easy answers to all these because it was when I had 11 subscribers, uh, uh, and I knew about those 11 book channels. I mean,
Yeah,
not 11 subscribers, 11 channels I was subscribed to.
right.
I think I had 0 subscribers, but that many the channels I was subscribed to, and I was like, I can answer this and feel good. But now, if once you get to know a lot of people, it's like you kind of got to drop a few things here and there, to try to catch everybody eventually. But it's tough, and I think you're right. You did the best you could. 'Cause you're like, I'm going to do 2 or 3 here,
Mhm.
But once you get to the point where you know a lot of people, I mean, that's what we come out here to do. We to know each other and hang out and talk about these things that we might not have, chance to talk about wherever we're living, whatever environment we're in. But it's, I think you're right about that. But I did notice I hadn't seen a lot of people doing it because I typically follow the tags that you do just to see who else did them.
Yeah, the New Year, New Me took off. It was great.
That was yeah,
The reading
that one
ticks
and that,
tag has been great.
the reading ticks. Okay,
Yeah, and there's still people doing it. And
yeah,
then, yeah, the perfect book tour. I thought, man, this is going to be great. It's adaptable, flexible, and it just was like I was just shocked.
that's like every video of mine. I was like, this is gonna be great.
Well, and I was talking to my wife earlier, and I was talking about a couple different things, and I said, there's a lot of people that will confide in me like, hey, it's a struggle sometimes because you put all this work in it and then no one watches it.
Yeah,
And I'm working on this library video that's kind of like this passion project for me. And I'm putting in a lot of work. And no one really cares about my local library here in central Illinois. I may get 50 views, but I'm going to spend 20 hours putting stuff together for this video,
yeah,
doing kind of a little mini kind of presentation documentary type video that I think matters. But, you kind of have to accept that, it is what it is. And I'm going to
yeah,
do it anyways type thing. But
yeah.
yeah, it
So,
does
you can
hurt
you can
you.
get a little intrinsic value out of it. Like, hey, I'm
Sure.
proud of this little thing I made, whether other people like it or not, doesn't matter. I kind of want to do it and post it, and that's kind of it. Hey, goals. Hashtag goals.
Well, he's honest.
Yeah. Gotta get those views. Uh so I'll have to put a little playlist together of your books, I mean of your video Secret Fire, and then just let it go on my third window that we can get your views up. That's what I do with Kevin Toll Reads. I make a playlist of all his videos and I just hit play all and I
It
turn
reminds me
that
of
down.
That reminds me of The Office, where Michael Scott's like, "I'm in third place on this news station," and then he's like, "Everyone needs to stop what they're doing and go out and watch my little newsreel." And then they all get distracted with this otter at the zoo, and he's like, "Focus."
Yeah. That's pretty much it. Yeah, it's just like it's kind of like a bot farm, but it's like with real people.
Yeah.
Put the playlist on and repeat it. Hey, I was going to ask you. Wait, no, I'm going to say that to the end.
Okay. I think the bot thing is legitimate.
Yeah.
I've had some people question like, hey, have you ever noticed like the ebb and flow of your analytics? And I'm like, yes. I will have periods where, for whatever reason, I will plus minus, and I think a lot of it has to do with, I think YouTube is, their analytics is based on projection. And so like, I don't think like when you look at your view count, like it's always in the rears in the sense like it's 4 days behind or 5 days behind before it catches up. And so I think there's a true up period, and you see these ebb and flows. So I always say like when you look at your analytics, you always want to look at it over the course of at least like 30 days minimum, because you don't really have a true picture. Looking at 7 days or looking at it every day, it doesn't really give you a true picture.
It's default at 28 days, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I'm definitely going nothing but 2024 and before that. 100%. That sounds like those are the golden videos. I don't. How long you been on Secret Fire? Tell us, Kevin. You've been on a little over a year now. Not even a year.
It's been about 14 months now.
Okay.
13 months, 14 months.
Oh, you're counting it like it's an infant.
Pretty much.
Once you're over a year, count the months.
Yeah, I'm approaching 600 videos too.
Yeah. That's your last 28-day snapshot? Yeah, I know. You had a pretty crazy last 28 days.
Well, yesterday there was a question on.
Okay, so you're going on 2 years. 1.5 years then.
There's a question on Ted's Discord. It was related to tags, and someone's like, "Well, you should ask Kevin," because I'm somehow the king of tags.
Wait, I thought I'm the one that put that.
You might have.
I said something like Kevin would be all over this because it's something about tags.
Anyway. It was a question from a girl like, hey, and she was asking about her channel and the analytics about tags and how they perform compared to other videos. And I was like, well, I'll give you some perspective, because she was like, hey, I looked, the last 30 days, here's my most watched videos, and so I went back and I'm like, well, I'll go back and give her like the last 90 days. And I'm like, there's 138 videos.
In 90 days?
Yeah.
That's right. You do average more. Your average, wait, you said 100 and what? 38?
Mm-hmm.
In 90 days, you said?
Mm-hmm.
You're just over 1.5 videos. So you're actually closer to 2 videos a day than 1 video a day on that average. Is that right?
About between 1.5 and 1 3/4. Yeah.
It should be like barely over 1.5 if it's 138 and
yeah.
I don't know. I'm 90 and 45, so 135 would be 1.5. So yeah, you're just over it. But what that means is you're trending toward closer to 2 videos a day than 1 video a day.
Which is why I was like, enough's enough.
Is there anybody in BookTube that is cranking out that many videos in that amount of time?
Yeah.
Who?
Steve Donahue.
Yeah, but doesn't he have like a superpower or something?
He'll crank out 5 or 6 in a day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Pat does a lot. Pat does daily videos.
Daily. Yeah.
Chris was in a pretty good stretch. I was doing a lot. But he does a daily survey, a daily poll, a daily question. I don't know if you really count that, but people that do a lot of shorts.
Shorts, yeah, I was gonna say because you're counting both, right? And I can see.
But I only did 1 short a week.
Yeah, I know. That's true, because you're right. If you do shorts, then you could do several a day, and you could record 30 minutes and record and edit for 30 minutes and have 3, 4, 5 videos. Like I get that.
Well, and ever since you were like, "Hey, you should try this app to edit your videos," it takes longer. I blame you for that. Because
Well, I'm
when I
just
first
trying to get
started,
back at you. Just trying to get
it
back
was
at
like,
you.
"Welcome to Kevin Toll Reads," and I was recording, and then like, "Okay, upload," and then I'm
Yeah.
done.
And then I gave you advice, and then you hit 1,000 subs. I mean, it's just directly related. Now, what is this about? Why is Secret Fire saying "dang it"?
Because I think I beat him to the answer when you were asking who does see the most
Oh,
videos. Yeah.
gotcha. Okay, so I got a couple questions.
Okay.
This is for the audience more than anything, and anyone who watches this live.
Nice.
One, and this is for
What's up, Jack?
Jack. So one, do you cut your own hair, and how often do you cut it? That's you, not for Jack. That's for Kevin.
Oh, I thought you said you were asking the audience. Oh,
This is for the purpose of the audience. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
These are audience questions just channeled through me.
Do I cut my own hair? No.
Okay.
Should I? Yes, because it's getting ridiculous to get the price of haircuts, and it's like a 1 and a 2. Like it takes them 5 minutes. Like
How often do you get it cut?
I used to get it cut. I used to get it cut every time I get paid, so every other week.
Okay.
And it's a vanity thing for me because I get it cut that way, and I was getting it cut that often because if the hair grows out, you can see the gray. And so if you keep it short, you can't hardly see it.
It blends in better.
You can see it in my facial hair, but yeah. But nowadays, like it's just getting so expensive, and I get so busy, and it's just like usually maybe it's every 3.5 weeks or something like that. And I get so sick of it around the ears. I'm like, I need a haircut.
Is it recently cut?
Yes, I got it cut over the weekend. So yeah.
No, nice.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's why I brought the question up, but maybe I just wondering, like, because you use it really short. So
pre-COVID, it was like $15. You go into a place and supercuts, great clips, and then it's like $26. I'm like, I told my wife, like, well, you might as well buy clippers and just do it.
It's close to a buzz.
Now I got a question.
The exact same, but
no, you're fine. So what was your question?
I was just gonna say, I was saying it's close to a buzz, but it's not all the same length. It's two lengths. So
yeah, she used to do it. We used to have clippers and used to do it, but yeah.
Okay, so my next question is for all of those, and I don't think this will offend anyone, but if it does, it's on them, not me. How do you respond to the word Illinois?
The S is silent.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm asking you. Whenever people say, "Hey, where in Illinois are you?"
It's funny. It's funny you mention that. So the company I work for, the corporate office is in New Jersey, and there was a gentleman that I enjoyed. He retired. He doesn't work there. He was a director of IT, and he always said Illinois. And I would always correct him, like, "Hey, it's Illinois.
There's just one."
There's no multiple. It's not plural. But and he didn't even have like that heavy of like an Eastern accent, but he would call it Illinois. And I'm like,
Eastern U.S.
Yes.
Okay. Like, what do you mean Eastern accent? I get you. Illinois. Yeah. That's funny.
That's my daughter.
Oh.
Yeah, it's Illinois. It's not Illinois.
But do you usually correct people, or do you just let it go?
I usually let it go. If I know them, I'll be like, "What are you doing?"
So my next question is a follow up, which is, how often do people say the S?
Not often.
Okay.
Not often. I mean, yeah, I think people probably get my last name wrong more than often than I hear them mispronounce the state name.
Okay.
I mean, that's another one that just baffles me, but it's been, they'll say Tao, and I just scratch my head like it's L-E, not E-O.
It looks like Tao.
How?
Like, I can get that. I didn't say Tao. when I first saw it, but I can
Is
tell.
everyone dyslexic? Like they look at it and it's like it's LE. So the phonics.
Yes, it is LE. However, we have pretty funny words in the English language, and it's hard to READ. How do you pronounce it?
READ.
Mm-hmm.
Read or read?
Which one?
It's read.
Wrong. It's red this time. But I mean, so I can see where towel. I could see towel. I could see that one. I could see that one more than actually I can see both that and Illinois. If you never said Illinois before, but
I mean, like people will be like, is it Tolly? Like, no, it's
I can see that too. I can see Tolly, Towley, and Towel and Toll.
Toll Booth, Toll House Cookies. Like it's Toll.
Yeah, but there's no word TOWLE. So you have to either use a word you already know, or you're just gonna like sound it out. Which you have working for you. TOW by itself is toe. So that does kind of say towel more than towel, but
Yeah.
you know, it's I can see that. I can see it. Those
are your random questions.
Those are my random questions for now until I think of more.
I'm gonna be doing a live stream for my 1,000 subscribers things, and it's usually, I guess, the protocol.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm a huge conformist or anything like that, but the protocol is to ask people to do a Q&A, like send me questions that you want me to answer type thing, And so I'm a little nervous about that. Not because I'm worried like, hey, these questions are going to be way outside of bounds or, anything like that, but I'm pretty transparent. So I'm worried about what.
Yeah, Q&As are, most people that I've seen, they're pretty respectful. You might have like trolls, which by the way, you spelled troll, TROWLE, just in case you're wondering. But you might have but in your channel, I feel like it's probably going to be pretty respectful. I mean, I'll be there to put a rock on the rail and derail your train, but
that's fine.
That's the only reason I show up to lives anyway.
I derailed my own train last time. I couldn't even schedule my own live right.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. You didn't need help.
That was a dumpster fire.
But the Q&As are pretty good because I don't know, they're just fun. People just kind of like to get to know you, where you don't rely on the tag questions to be really good. You get to make up your own. Sure. So, and if I ever did a Q&A where people ask questions and I didn't want to answer a question, I'd be like, cool question, just not gonna answer that one. I just move on.
Where is your rainbow dragon your daughter in the review? Yes, she is. Yes, she is, Debbie. Yep. She has her own little channel that she created, like a kid's channel where she does her own little thing. She's been doing that for a couple of years now. She does her own little shorts, her own little art stuff. Yep.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's a family business.
She was on here way before I was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She taught you. She showed you the ropes.
Pretty much. Yeah.
It's like
I showed her the editing app that you showed me, and she already knows how to use it better than I do.
That's how you use it better than I did. I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, you started unlocking all these features, and I was like, where are those? So I tried to go find them. I tried to do some of the ones you did, and then I realized I'm going to stay behind.
Yeah. So, anything else on your horizon you want to talk about?
No. Yes and no. Okay. So we have the buddy read going. So I'm still trying to finish my book on Egyptian culture this March.
Sounds enthralling.
Say that again.
Sounds enthralling.
Yes. I'm gonna get this thing out. Have my board here. I have Rising Sun in April. I'm going to be reading Outraged, which
By the way, let me interrupt you. By the way, for Rising Sun, Josh had already overbooked, put out his TBR video today, and he was like, I don't know what we're doing, but we're doing something.
Yeah, so I told him I was going to try to give him some clarity on that. So I think I got to check in now. So I'm going to make a video and check in with everyone. But I mean, we can make a video about it. he asked when we were supposed to be finished with it. I said May 1st. And then it sounds like in his thing that we're going to do a video about it. So that has been added.
Okay.
Which I guess maybe that was an assumption, and but I was fine with not doing a video. But anyway, so you, Josh, I think Sam said he was interested in doing it. Do you know Sam from Sam's Bookshelf or Reading with Sam or something? He's relatively new. He's a little bit younger. He just
Is
did
it
like
Books with Sam?
Books with Sam, yeah.
Yes, I do know Books with
Where
Sam.
he just moved to a new apartment or something to live in,
Mhm.
and showed us like new bookshelf. Yeah. So I think Sam was going to
Is
join.
Brian reading it with us?
Brian's reading with us.
Okay.
And then Peter, who
Peter
loves
is?
books.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that's who we have so far. I don't know. I don't think there's anyone else. So that's the biggest one I've got. And then June.
I'm going to be honest with you. When you got the whiteboard out, I thought you were going to try to sell me a timeshare.
Are you interested? I do still have my button down on.
I ask you a question, then I interrupt you. I know it's. I'm a great host.
No, I'm just saying. If you like to buy a timeshare, I probably can get you in one in about 6 months. So, and then June we have Toxin. You and I are going to be reading Toxin in June, right? Is that still good? Because aren't you reading Kind of Monte Cristo around that time?
Yeah. No, we're doing April and May, so I got to get started tomorrow.
Okay. And then I think in June, I'm also planning on trying to read the rest of the Sam Buckland series, which you have the first one now, Chains of Prophecy. That's the end that self-published book I sent you.
Oh, yes.
Now, you don't have to read it with us, but you can. It's just, I don't want to put that on you because you may not enjoy the first one and don't want to read the rest of it. I know Josh and I are going to read all of them and then try to get, they read really quickly, but we're going to try to get Philip on the channel at some point.
Okay.
And then I have July, August, and September open. I don't know that I want to book those yet, but they're open at this point.
Yeah.
my
letter, I'm kind of on the same wavelength as you are now because my last half of the year is open and I kind of want to keep my options open because I got all these series that I want to read.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I did. I'll have some new books / series coming, I guess, in this reading wrap up soon. That I did. Like I started Sue Grafton series. She's the one that goes from A to Y.
Oh boy.
Steve's joined.
Steve, your ears must be burning today. That's all I'm gonna say.
Steve can join Rising Sun. We just started, Steve. We're going to read Rising Sun this month by Crichton.
It's fiction, sure. Steve, so you're probably out.
Oh, he doesn't read fiction?
No, I'm giving him grief.
He
always tells me I don't read enough nonfiction.
Well, both of you, but he may have a point. You well, didn't you say you're going to read Crichton's nonfiction?
Yes.
Yeah, y'all should buddy read that. These are our best buds.
I'll definitely read nonfiction in November too.
Nonfiction November. Yeah, that's
okay. I got to read Thomas's book on Errol Flynn. That's on the docket, and then I want to read a book. I want to read a book on Da Vinci.
Okay. Yeah.
I've shifted already.
Why Da Vinci?
I like Da Vinci. I've always been fascinated with him.
Okay. Not bad. Not bad.
And I got a book based on Steve's recommendation. That was a good one. So
on Da Vinci?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think I saw you whenever you did like a book haul or something.
Yeah. He's an interesting guy.
Da Vinci?
Mm-hmm.
Probably. A lot of those people, they stood out because they were interesting.
Well, welcome, Debbie.
Yeah. What books do you like to see and read? Because I know that, yeah, exactly. Secret Fire. That's what I was thinking. You know, it just came across my in my attention not too long ago was Three Ninjas. I haven't
The
seen that movie
movie,
in
the little
so long.
about the little boys.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in so long. Tum Tum and the Jelly
Yeah.
Beans. Kevin picked it.
Don't put this on me.
Kevin picked it. I was like, let's read a Crichton book, and I showed him my collection. He was like, let's do Rising Sun because it's pretty vile. That's what he said. No, I'm kidding. No, I think it was. I gave him some options, and he said he's read it, and so I said, let's read it. And then I found out he read it already. And I was like, huh. But
Twice.
a lot of people really wanted to join and read that one. So a lot of people were looking forward to reading Rising Sun by Crichton. I think people want to read Crichton for some reason, or at least because it's some of the others. Speaking of some others, Dumpster Fire
Can you recap the last 90 for you?
and Reacher.
Reacher, good. Let's ramble.
That's true. That's true. Hey, any kind of questions you have about Kevin, hold them for a Q&A in the future, but make sure they're, respectful questions. Police procedural, okay. Nice. Character-driven reader. Okay, so I like Robin Cook books, but they're plot-driven, not character-driven. The police procedurals, though, do you like PI books? Because I just started reading, I just started reading the Sue Grafton books, which is like A is for alibi, B is for something, C is for, I don't know, cut, D is for defendant, or I don't know, something like that. And those are really kind of straightforward police procedural, but they're PIs, I think. Okay, so the Sue Grafton books are pretty good. And they're straightforward, too. That's what I like about them. They're not these crazy, twists at the end. Like King, I think King's twisty. I don't know. But like the Coben and the Harley Coben and the who did I just read, Kevin, that I gave up on?
You gave up on wasn't Cornwell.
No, I like Chris Cornwell.
It was the other lady. You read like 3 books.
Sandra Brown.
Sandra
I
Brown.
gave up on Sandra Brown. Yeah. And I also gave up on Riley Sager because Riley Sager is just
hit and miss for you.
Yeah. One of the 3 was okay, but I get why. I can see they're popular. So
Debbie, if you like procedural books that are character driven, I recommend John Sanford.
The Davenport stuff.
Yeah,
that's probably a good one.
Yeah,
watch Kevin's channel more. As it sounds like Kevin does more procedurals and probably more character driven books.
Yeah.
Do you like true crime, Debbie? That's another question.
Why not Eaters of the Dead, for instance? I've read that as well. It's a good one. I had just read it, I think, a couple months prior, Steve. And so when he asked me, I was like, yeah, I've already read that one. And it's been a while since I read Rising Sun, so that's probably why. No real good reason. Robin Cook, a sweet, gentle guy.
So I don't know if that's true. Are you saying, like, do you actually know that? Is he actually a sweet, gentle guy? Or is he the opposite? And that's sarcastic. I know nothing about Robin Cook.
You never know with Steve.
That's why I feel like that's kind of why I have to ask.
Didn't the racist and sexist stuff in Rising Sun bother you? No, it didn't. No, it didn't. And, I've been reading some older stuff, and I read the best, I don't know if Steve watches some of my Saturday shorts, but the Grisham short story was the best short story I've read in the last 6 months. The Funny Boy. And it was heavily racist because it's about a gay man coming back to Clanton, Mississippi to die of AIDS back in the 80s. And you had all those different dynamics, the unknown, the ignorance about the disease. You had the still segregation down in the South. You had the people that didn't care, still were new to gay men And so you had all of that, and I thought it was one of my favorite written short stories I've read, and I thought Grisham knocked it out of the park. The other thing too is there's been some other you have to almost give it with the times too, like Flannery O'Connor. I was pretty shocked by some of that. Nowadays I think people could do without some of the wording that they choose to use in some of their stories, and I know that we shouldn't omit things for what they are in the time and context they're used, but it didn't bother me. And I guess my long-winded way of saying, Steve, it didn't bother me in Rising Sun. No more than I've kind of been shocked and awed in some other things. So no sarcasm. Robin Cook is a sweet, gentle guy. Absolutely wonderful to chat with when you bump into him at the So he went to the Brattle Bookshop in Boston, huh? Interesting.
Is that a famous bookshop?
In Steve's eyes, it is a very famous one. I've never been there. Obviously,
You know about it. You knew it was in Boston.
But Steve has a pretty deep connection with that place.
Oh, well, yeah, I like Robin Cook's books. And I forgot to mention on Debbie's point, James Patterson just came out with a book that was about like police stories. It might be nonfiction. So there you go. Some for Steve too, but about some police stories, like from police officers. I don't know if it's dramatized, but that's on my list.
I as well be honest.
Nice choice, Kevin. Golly, we have 5 people on this one too. Good grief. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Isn't it about what's the setting? What time is the setting?
If I remember correctly, it's 80s, 70s, 90s, in that time period, I believe. It's been several years. It's been out for a while. And I've read it twice. That's another reason why I picked it.
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot of it. I remember enjoying it heavily, and I remember enjoying the movie as well. Don't watch the movie before you read it, though.
I don't even know there's a movie. So, Steve, is that the one I'm talking about? Walk the Blue Line? Is that like in the last, I don't know, decade maybe or something? It's a shorter book, but it's a bunch of police officer stories put together. Anyway. I didn't know there was a movie to that. I think I might have seen Josh said something about that.
I cannot believe Steve would ever say anything like positive about Patterson. That shocks me.
It is nonfiction, and it's Patterson. Probably it sounds like Patterson's more kind of dictating other people's stories.
I would think you would have better odds in Vegas than you would if Patterson actually wrote the book. I think he has so many ghostwriters.
Well, I'm sure he slaps his name on other people's books because he's trying to get them, launched a little bit. But
it always kind of makes me laugh when people are talking about Sanderson. Like, how does he write all these books so fast? I'm like, have you ever heard of Patterson?
You're skeptical.
I'm a little skeptical. I think
that's 2 in a row, Kevin.
I know Steve's
a terrific guy.
Steve's kind of unsubscribed.
I think he's messing with you.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe he's just finally telling the truth.
I liked a few Alex Cross books, but yeah.
Well, you have some of the first ones were they're pretty good stories.
They were.
Because he had to have gotten famous somehow. So, like Along Came a Spider and all those, I'm sure
they were good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Speaking of Alex Cross, have you seen the TV show?
No. I just don't watch a lot of TV. I really don't. Like, besides Reacher, but and occasionally I'll see a movie that'll catch my eye. But
I just know they made one. I may have watched an episode or two when it came out because I know the actor, but
James from Twice Born by Grace emails me, and he was telling me, "Hey, have you checked out? There's a new Bosch like Legacy that's out series." I know my mom's been watching it, and so
Because you read two
and
Bosches now,
because
right?
I've liked the Bosch books. I think
Yeah.
Conley writes good police procedural, which is another one, Debbie. If you're interested in that, the Harry Bosch series would be a good one too. From what I've read, the first two books are fantastic. So, character driven though, like some of the stuff I really dig, and I just finished, and my review will be up this week. Travis McGee, book 1 by John McDonald, fantastic. And
Really?
I bought like the first 14 because I just knew I was going to connect with it. Ed McBain's another great writer.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say it's as character driven. Travis McGee might be, I've only read one book, but I really like the 87th Precinct stuff. I think it's fantastic. I like the pulp noir writing. I like the
Yeah.
boiled down writing. I just like that.
If you like police procedurals, maybe you also like some of the legal stuff.
Hey, Rob.
Like I know you like the Grisham stuff too, but the Randy Singer is a pretty good, similar to kind of Grisham. He's a little him and Baldacci does a little bit of police procedural type stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
So like the ones we've been reading, the Travis
Divine.
Yeah, that's the 620 Man. That's a pretty good series. And he is kind of like an investigator officer, even though he's slightly different. But
yeah,
the courtroom stuff, and then I'm trying to think of if you like, I know a lot of you haven't read Cornwell yet, have you? I know you got a book, a case.
Bernard or Patricia.
No, Patricia Cornwell.
Yeah, I got one from Pat. It was I actually
the Scarpetta, right?
Yeah, the case or Scarpetta.
Yeah. So that I think that she's an ME. That one's pretty good. Tess Gerritsen's Rizzoli and Isle series, I thought it's actually pretty good too. Again, that's a procedural, pretty good one because it's got two main characters. You got the ME and you have the police officer. They have a TV show of that one that's just pretty good too. But
yeah, Henning Manco book called Faceless Killers, 10 pages in. I'll read everything by that guy. Swedish crime novels.
Nice.
Speaking of overseas, Joe Nesbo's okay. I like him. The Harry Hole detective series, I think that's okay. I think it's pretty good. For legal fiction, I strongly recommend Barry Reed. Also wonderful to bump into at the Brattle. This Brattle, I need to hang out there. Not for Steve. I want to hang out and meet all these authors.
Here it's a safe place, right?
Safe place.
There was an author. His name's Jack Stewart, and he writes the Battleborn series. And I read the first two. So he's a real life Top Gun pilot or instructor or both, and he basically writes a Top Gun but crime mystery. So crime fiction Top Gun, and there's 3 in it. There's Outlaw. There's I forget the other one, something or another, and then the Bogey Spades is the most recent one. I was in contact with them. I was like, hey, I have your first 2. I really liked them. They're very technical. So if you want to learn, Zach would really like them. Zach Reeds, who comments every once in a while on your page. And he comments regularly. He and I have done buddy reads together. But it's basically, if you're okay with getting a little bit nerdy about airplanes, he has these 3 books out. And the 3rd one came out, and so I was emailing him saying, "Hey, are you going to do a book signing? Because I had the first 2, I'm about to get and I want to buy the 3rd one from you, but get a signed version." And so I'm emailing constantly, because he said, "Yes, I'll have more soon." And then like a month or 2 goes by, I'm like, "Hey, when's that thing coming? When's the book signing?" It's like, "Oh, I just talked to my publisher, and we're going to get something, or my agent or whatever, and we're going to get something together." Because I know he's in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which is not too far. I'm like, okay, I'll drive an hour or 2 to do that. And so I'm emailing him again. I'm finally like, "Hey, did you ever set that up?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I did set up, and here's the day and time and the place." I was like, "Awesome, see you there." And then the day before the signing, my kid's basketball schedule comes out. And like there's either a basketball game or practice, I can't remember, the night of the signing. And so I just didn't go. And like the whole time, I don't know how many he was going to get to show up. I don't know if he's a really famous author, in his own way, to where there'd be a lot of people, or if he was counting on a few people. But I felt bad. And so I emailed him and let him know, like, I'm so sorry. I was really looking forward to getting it. But, if it's any consolation, I bought the book. So, there's however much money you get per book. There you go.
Right.
But I was frustrated because I couldn't go. But at the same time, I was like, to me, it's a no-brainer. The Brattle or my kid's basketball practice. I like to shoot some hoops. I get a book signed later. Didn't really care. I really wanted to buy it because I thought I was going to get the book earlier if I got it signed, but that ended up not being the case. So I was fine with it because signatures don't really matter unless they're Dusty Rhodes signing Shiloh. I bought a book that's like To Bria from Dusty Rhodes because I got it used on like a $1 sale and it's signed. It's pretty cool.
Have you had an author sign a book for you?
No.
In person?
No. This was the only chance I was going to get, and I was kind of like, maybe I'll try this out. But I even have books by authors who I've gone and spoken to and spoken with, and I didn't bring the book for them to sign or anything like that. But no, I haven't actually got a book signed by an author. Don't know why, I just haven't. Yeah. I know you went to Ken Liu's signing.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. It was like a whole ordeal. It wasn't just a signing. It was like a presentation and stuff.
Yeah. He was at a local library about an hour away from me in Central Illinois and was a speaking guest, talked about AI and generation and how it's going to influence art and books and writing. It was a really great presentation. Then he did a book signing, and I got one of my Ken Liu books, short story collections, signed by him. He was great. I got a picture, and he's really fascinating to listen to. He's got a law degree, like an engineering, and he writes, and he's fascinating person. Yeah. Cool. Very intelligent.
Cool. That's cool that they do a little presentation with the signing. Debbie too, if you like the Scarpetta, maybe you'll like Lisa Gardner, and maybe you'll like Catherine Coulter, I think is her name. She's got a pretty good series. I think Catherine Coulter is the one that does I could be wrong, the Savage and Sherlock books. Those are pretty good. Have you heard any of these? Are
you asking me?
Yeah, Kevin?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, okay.
I haven't read any of them, but I've heard of them. Yes.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
There.
Did you see this comment?
Oh, there's two ways I'm going about this. Either this is like a joke, like you're literally just signing the books, or do you work there or something? Like what's his thing? Or is it just like the cards, the checkout cards?
In light of the videos I've watched this week, are the two of you mostly enjoying BookTube these days? It's funny you bring it up because we low-key got called out today, Mr. Donahue. You should check out a community post on Mr. Neely's channel.
I'm not involved in this, Mr. Donahue. But Kevin went down on tag videos, so I'm enjoying it a little more.
I'm enjoying BookTube. I absolutely am. I definitely am taking a step back in terms of production because I just was producing so many videos, and obviously I've got kids and life and everything else, but I'm taking a step back, but I'm not stopping. No, BookTube is great. I everything that Ted said in his video and you echoed in his video, I thought was great. So yeah, there definitely is though a lot of people that have reached out to me about their frustrations with different things, and it's definitely prevalent. But I think for the most part, it's a positive experience. I think most of the people who do BookTube, some of their concerns, and I don't know how you feel, Logan, but it's just getting kind of going, getting an audience, getting a cadence, getting a routine, feeling like that the stuff they do is worthwhile, and that validation is hard. It's hard not to experience that validation through numbers, but yeah. But I think there's a lot of other things. There's buddy reads. There's definitely clubs. We're creating a club that's going to rival the elusive exclusive book society, and it's just getting off the ground. There's other things.
Wait.
Yeah.
You're starting a club?
Yeah.
I gotta go.
There's a secret handshake and a membership dues, but yeah.
Probably, Steve. The videos you watch when you get started are always going to be how to get 1,000 subs in a month. So then when it doesn't happen, they're like, how has this not happened to me? So, because those are the ones you watch when you're starting a book, like how to start a booktube. It's always going to be how to be so successful so soon. Those are the videos you watch. Go back and watch. Actually, don't do this because there's really no reason to. But I did a video on like how I was on for almost a year and didn't grow very much, and kind of my thoughts on it and stuff. It's like that. Those aren't the ones they're going to watch. Like how to be unsuccessful. That's pretty much what my video is, in terms of subscribers and stuff. But for me, go ahead.
No, go. I was just going to say.
Yeah, that's what I'm responding to.
Okay. Gotcha.
So because when you start out, you're like how to be a successful YouTuber or booktuber, and so those are going to be the rise, shooting up there really quickly. And so that doesn't happen to them. I think it's just expectations aren't met and it gets frustrating. So I don't know if they're too hungry for lots of subs too soon, or if it's just the videos they watch to help get them started set the bar really high, and the expectation's pretty high. When they don't meet them, it's like, well, what happened? Maybe I'm not cut out for it. Maybe my channel's not going to make it. Let me try again or quit.
I think people have good intentions too, because I think they come at this as a passion for books, a hobby, and
they're the ones that don't care.
And they don't, but I think there's people that do, because it's hard not to, because of just the way that everything is created in YouTube. There's analytics, there's likes, there's comments, there's subscriber counts, there's all these things that derive a numbers game that evokes like these human emotions. Like, if my number's not X, then I'm not doing a good job. And that doesn't always translate to the quality and sincerity and authenticity of someone's channel. It doesn't. There's a lot of great booktubers that I'm just shocked that don't have thousands of subscribers and have a couple hundred.
Yeah.
And it's shocking to me.
Like 225. If y'all have matching leather jackets, that'd be pretty sweet. If I don't know, it takes some kind of motivation to go public on YouTube with talking about books. Like, that is different from the normal reader. There are tons of people who read, and an overwhelming majority are not on BookTube.
Yeah.
So there is something that's kind of fundamentally different about those who end up going on BookTube. Whether it's it may not be like celebrity fame, but it's, I want to be noticed and known by other people. Could be something similar as that.
I think it's, they want a voice. They want to be heard. And so, when I started, I started on Facebook, and people were like, hey, why don't you do a YouTube channel? And I had started on Facebook just doing book reviews from my home office. And it was just like, I wanted to do it because I thought talking was a lost art, as I see my kids text and everything, and they're facing screens all the time type thing. And I just felt like communication was a lost art. So
yeah. Honestly, I can't remember. Actually, I know why I started a BookTube channel, but it's because I was completely wrong. You just read Steve Donahue's?
No, I was reading my daughter's.
She is supporting. She's very supportive. It's shocked. She was shocked there's only 10 people.
So what else? Anything else, Logan? It's 2 hours.
Man. Yeah, but you started early. When you start at 6, it can go like 4 hours. I'm kidding. No, I don't really have anything new. I want to focus. Yeah, okay. I do want to focus more on stuff that leans a little more into what I probably enjoy the most, which is like psychology and stuff. So I do want to lean a little more into that. And I do want to. Yeah, go ahead.
That's why I was like, I thought for sure you would have this springboard, because I think you bring a different dimension to.
Yeah, but I haven't really felt like I've done that much. Because I also used to do a whole lot more self-pub and indie books too. And so I kind of been, it's timing too. It's tag videos. Tag videos have completely just devastated my channel. So.
Oh, this is where it becomes a dumpster fire, folks.
Yep.
You need something else besides was it strawberry
cake?
Yeah.
I'm up all night, man. It's only 8. The night is young. No, I had a turkey sandwich, smoked turkey breast sandwich with some mayo and mustard. And what else did I have? I had like some pork skins or something. I don't know. Yeah, that's what I had.
All right, last thoughts, and then we're wrapping this up.
What's new with you?
I had a great week last week. Only doing 5 videos was great.
Are you going to keep that up? Are we about to see 7 the next week and then 10
I think
the next
it'll be
week?
6 this week. I think because I did the Rowdy live stream, we did the Short of Kaigan thing, and then tonight, so there's a couple extra lives, but yeah, it'll be fine. I'm enjoying the cadence. I like the flexibility.
Have you seen more time available for family and reading? Because I know you read quite a bit.
Reading was big last week, and then starting to a little bit this week too. Made some headway into Mary Beard's Emperor Rome, which is really good. So I'm enjoying it. And then making some headway. I got the County Monte Cristo coming this week. So
starting this week?
Yeah.
You're doing the County Monte Cristo at the same time we're doing Rising Sun, not at the same time we're doing Toxin. Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're gonna probably read it for 2 months.
Yes. Yeah. DG and I were like, hey, let's do this over 2 months. It's 1,200 pages.
Yeah. Oh, one other thing. I'm trying to set up a time with CG rated books.
Nice, Charles.
To meet up at a bookstore because he's not too far away.
That's what I was going to say. You guys are close.
Yeah, so we'll have to try to document it somehow, and I'm gonna check out this local bookstore, which means I can break my, don't buy any more books. The good thing about YouTube is you'll never know if I actually buy books.
That's the thing. Like, people are like anti-consumer, they're consumerism. Well, like, I get like it can.
I'm
be
just not doing book haul videos. I am trying to read. I'm trying to read everything down, but I am doing book haul videos. But I have limited myself to where I'm only using store credit. So when I finish books, I turn them in, and then if I have money for store credit at my local bookstore, I'll use that to get more books. But I have not. I'm not pulling out cash for books. Trying not to. I've gotten one here or there, but
the gossip, which it's not even gossip, it's truth, because the people have just flat out told us or told me that. But some booktubers sell plasma to buy books.
Like plasma?
Yeah.
Hey, gotta get your money somehow to buy books.
Hey, I'm not complaining. If it's there, get it.
No one wants my plasma or my blood. So
yeah. Well, this was fun. Reacher season 3.
I mean, was it though? I'm kidding.
It was fun.
It was. Yeah, it was. I always like talking about Reacher, and this one was. It was a good adaptation, so I'm glad it was good, and I'm glad we just didn't have a crappy TV show to watch. But it was. I'm also glad that you want to do this live, because usually we record these, so this is the first time we've done it live.
It's easier, I think.
And it's our longest one.
Yeah. I mean, Steve had to come on here, and
I know. I was also going to say Steve contributed to that.
Yeah, I know. He's got to make everything about him.
And was it Secret Fire? Also a little blame on Secret Fire.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah. Y'all can't stop the Cardinals are winning. Well, I've got to eat.
Oh man, perfect. I didn't want to anyway. So, all right, let's Q&A. No, I'm kidding.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. This was great. We really enjoyed it, and thanks Logan for hanging out.
Hey, thanks Kev for inviting me on.
All right, and that's a wrap.
Till next time.
Till next time.